Hey guys, what's up? This is the Secret Top 10 Episode 2 with guest James L. Edwards. Now, James L. Edwards is an indie actor and director. He has been acting for over 3 decades, four probably, and he actually had just started directing movies of his own, including Her Name Was Christa, Brimstone Incorporated, and coming up Trivial. So this is his third feature film coming up. I want him to come on and do the Secret Top 10 because he has a vast knowledge of film. He's very funny, and he's got a lot of charisma. So yeah, and I interviewed him before. We had a good time. I like his films, and I like him. He did throw me a curveball though, and I feel like this is going to be a common thing that keeps happening in these secret top tens. People just want to stump Dave and make him look dumber than he already does. Anyways, we had fun though, and I really appreciate him coming on. There will be a little bit of talk of his trivial at the end of this episode. So first we get into the secret top 10 of his, and then we get into my awful predictions, and then we get into a little quiz show, and finally we end it with just some bullshit about some upcoming projects. So check it out if you're interested in the second episode of the Secret Top 10. I appreciate it, and there'll be more to come. I'm here with James L. Edwards, actor, director, and most importantly, film fan. And we're here to do the Secret Top 10. If you guys are not familiar with the show, it's a ridiculous concept that I ripped off a bunch of other concepts and made my own. Essentially, I have guests that are in indie film world, producer, whatever the hell. Eventually, there's probably going to end up being friends because I don't know that many fucking people. But anyways, so he's going to give me a top 10 subject. I do not know the subject, and I do not know the movies or anything like that. I will have 2 minutes to guess the top 10 in that subject from him to see how well I know him or how well I can guess that subject. We'll go over his top 10 and we'll talk about the movies a little bit. And then we'll go over my top 10, what I thought would be. We'll laugh at my my ridiculously terrible choices. Then we're going to play a little stupid trivia game or tournament, depending what they what they want to do. And then we'll bullshit a little bit. So sound good, James?
I think this is going to be a blast. Thank you so much for having me aboard.
Thanks for doing it. I had a lot of fun doing the first episode, so you were one of the ones at the top of my list. Here's my trusty little notebook. Do you want me to set the timer, or do you want to set it?
I have the timer ready to go. So
okay.
I guess you know what the top 10 you're going to be doing, huh?
Yeah. So what you tell me after you tell me, do you have any caveats? Like Dustin did monsters, but not kaiju monsters and shit.
Right. Essentially, what we have here, because basically in keeping of my theme of being an actor who is now dipping his toes into directing, these are my top 10 favorite films directed by someone who is essentially known as an actor and dip their toes into the directing field. The only caveat at all is that they have to have a at least a major role performance in the film.
Okay, so you're gonna time me?
It can be somebody who directed one time. It can be somebody who's directed a million times. But the main thing is they have to mostly genuinely be known as an actor first.
And am I guessing the actor or the film?
You will guess the film.
Okay. All right.
The film, it's basically the top 10 films directed by actors.
Okay. So you're going to time me?
I am ready, set, and go.
You can try to fuck me up right now if you'd like.
I wouldn't dare. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Although I do appreciate that with your and Dustin's thing, you would put in little videos in between. So I'm curious to see what you'll put on here.
I am absolutely fucked. I only got 2 off the top of my head because it's you know how you're some days you're on, some days you're off. I'm literally
you still got over a minute and a half. You're doing great.
No.
No pressure whatsoever.
Oh man, I know there's one movie he directed. I can't think of what it's fucking called. There's a couple of those guys. Oh fuck.
See, I figured this one was going to be too easy for you.
No, I'm mostly a horror guy.
Well, there's a lot of them on the list that, well, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, I'm blanking out. I just did one of these yesterday. I'm fucking fried right now. This is going to be a big failure. 40 seconds remain.
I got 3 and I think one's fake.
No pressure.
I'm just writing actors now.
And you know what? Go with that. If you want to just go actors, maybe you'll get some of them on my list. Final 15.
Ugh. Okay, 7.
Okay, that's good. It's better than you were a minute ago.
I've got no horror movies on here.
And time is up.
Fuck. Oh, fuck. All right. So what do we got here?
I have to give you my list, and then you're going to tell me if you had any on your list, correct?
I'll go over my list, and then we can laugh at my list. And we'll start with yours, starting from the bottom.
Starting from the bottom?
Yeah.
As far as, okay, so these are actually in order of my own personal enjoyment. And like I said, just because these are on the list does not necessarily make them good films. It just basically means that it's films that I enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So at the bottom of the list was the only film directed by Dan Aykroyd, which was Liquid Trouble. I absolutely adore this film. I love the fact that the studio had such a fanfare for it initially, and then completely shit all over it.
When they realized it didn't make money, they're like, "Fuck you, Dan Aykroyd," and it cost a lot too.
Well, the thing that's fascinating about this is the reason he had so much creative control over this thing is that Warner Brothers was basically so focused on the Bonfire of the Vanities, which they thought was going to be a major hit, that they're like, let Dan Aykroyd do his weird little horror comedy thing, whatever he's going to do, that's fine. We're focusing on this. And then when Bonfire was such a massive bomb, they're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? And then they all of a sudden this became a post-production nightmare.
Yeah, that was the Brian De Palma flick, right, with Bruce Willis.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never watched it. It didn't look.
Nobody has. Literally, no one had any interest in seeing it whatsoever. But the it was a huge bestseller as far as a novel.
Yeah, yeah.
So Warner Brothers thought they had this huge property, and it turns out nobody cared about Warner Brothers at all.
I mean, I think more people love Nothing But Trouble now than Bonfire. Nobody talks about them. I always liked the movie. I saw it was a TV movie for me. Like, you catch it on TV, me and my 8-year-old cousin would be laughing at it because it's fucking fun. It's stupid. It's got a great cast.
I remember it in theaters, and literally me and a girlfriend were the only people in the theater, and it was opening night.
Was she happy with it or no?
No, she hated it. Absolutely. And I had a blast. And it cracks me up because some of the stories I've heard of the making of, I guess Chevy Chase, in typical Chevy Chase fashion, was a complete douche on the set.
You can tell he doesn't give a fuck. He does not.
He's bragging about how he's the only star there and he's the one making so much money. And it just was a complete catastrophe. But I love it. I think it's a blast.
Oh, yeah. You got John Candy in it. How can you say you're the only star when John Candy's in the
Big Run's great in it.
Debbie Moore's in it.
Yeah, it's a fun film. So, number 2 on my list is Billy Bob Thornton's Sling Blade.
French fried potatoes?
Yep, French fries.
How much you want for them?
I love Sling Blade.
Which, just to me, is just an almost perfect movie. I love the fact that he was a struggling actor, and the idea of him just basically taking this $1 million movie and just absolutely nailing it. I love that movie. Number 2 is Bill Paxton's Frailty.
Okay. I mean, I love Sling Blade, and Frailty's really good. I'm a bigger Sling Blade guy. That was a movie that me and my family would watch all the time. It was one of those ones we rented it or recorded it. My grandpa dropped it off recorded. We watched it, and then it was one of those ones that were let's watch it again, the next day. And my dad's walking around the house sure, we like them fried tater. Middle-aged guy thinks it's the best thing ever.
Just an absolutely incredible, a lot of great performances in that. I mean, Billy Bob gets a lot of the credit for that. And, I mean, rightfully so. He's incredible in it, but John Ritter's great in it. Was it Dwight Yoakam that's the bad guy in that?
Don't fucking practice, Randy.
They loved Dwight Yoakam. My dad loved him. He used to play in the basement with his buddy Bill Yoakam. which is great because they would play in the basement, but they always like, man, Dwight Yoakam was such an asshole in that movie. They thought it was great. They thought it was so funny because he's such a piece of shit.
But just a phenomenal picture.
Yeah.
But like I said, Bill Paxton's Frailty, which I absolutely love. This one's kind of out of left field, and I don't know if this is more nostalgia than anything else, but this is a movie that no one remembers that I absolutely love. Dom DeLuise, his only directorial effort as far as feature film was this cop comedy called Hot Stuff.
Dom DeLuise. Hot Stuff. You won't believe it, but it really happened. Hot
Stuff. I've never heard of it.
It's him, Jerry Reed, Suzanne Plachette. I always forget the guy's name, but he was a character actor who directed the movie Pigs.
He's Jesse Lawrence.
Yeah. Is it? No, it's Mark Lawrence.
Mark Lawrence. He's in Pigs, though. He plays their dad. Pigs is a great movie.
He plays a mafioso, and it's just an absolute blast. It's just ridiculous. But you should. I think Warner Brothers did it as one of their manufacturer on demand discs. Still no Blu-ray, but just a lot of fun.
Sounds good.
Jackie Chan's Armor of God. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. I love Jackie, and again, he's directed a handful of his own films, but that particular one is just so much fun. And it's also one of the ones that he almost died on because there's a scene he's playing this Indiana Jones type character. And he's stealing this relic from this tribe, and he's in between two large cliffs, and there's this small tree in between the cliffs, and he jumps off the one cliff, grabs a hold of the tree, and literally like repels to the other cliff. Well, the first take went great, and he wasn't happy with it, so he did a second take. The branch broke, and he fell 30 stories. And cracked his skull, and they actually had to remove a chunk of his skull to do surgery. Recovered, healed, came back, fired his stunt crew, and basically said that, and they were, he specifically wanted to work mostly with an all-Chinese stunt crew. That's what he was going to do. And he fired his crew because of the fact that he said, if I had a Chinese stunt crew as I was falling, they would have run in and pushed me out of the way, and I wouldn't have been injured. Complete insanity. But no, that's one of my favorites.
I actually am not as familiar with Jackie Chan as I should be. Like, I know the Americanized Jackie Chan that came to the States because I was a young kid, and so like I haven't seen a lot of his like Chinese or Hong Kong output, like the stuff that made him so popular.
I really enjoy his 80s stuff. The 70s stuff mostly is period pieces, and I just can't get into period piece stuff typically. What? I don't know why. I've wanted to. I just really typically cannot do period piece stuff.
Let's just throw this list in the garbage.
But like all of his 80s stuff, like a couple of my favorites of Jackie's were like Dragons Forever is a phenomenal movie. Both of the Armor of God films are a blast. Project A 1 and 2, his Police Story series, all of that. I mean, I'm a huge Jackie fan. Even his later stuff, like now that he's too old to really do the stunts. He a couple of years ago called The Foreigner. That's really, really good.
I mean, he had a good comic timing too, even though later stuff, so that helps.
I mean, I'll forgive him for the Karate Kid remake. That's fine. So
no one watched it. I didn't watch
it. Next on my list is Rusty Cundiff's Fear of a Black Hat.
This is more than a comedy. This film is subversive.
We can't let the white man tell us how to sell to our market. Right, Freesh?
The white man, no good.
It's a rap version of Spinal Tap. Rusty Cundiff would later go on to direct what was it? Tales from the Hood.
I love Tales from the Hood, and he did. Was this a comedy he made?
This was a comedy. Yeah, it was him and oh God, why can't I remember the actors in it? I know the guy who played Lamar Luttrell in the Revenge of the Nerds movies.
Also in Extreme Prejudice. I know he's in that
right,
too.
Yeah. He ends up playing a Flava Flav type character. I'm trying to think. It's got appearances by director Ken Hall and Jeff Burr, which is nice.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Next on my list was Bill Murray's Quick Change.
Hey, I got 3 more minutes.
We're closed, bozo.
Let's not mess with me today.
What the hell kind of clown are you?
The crying on the inside kind, I guess.
Fill this up with regular, please.
This is our perpetrator.
Average height, average build, red nose, blue hair.
It was the perfect crime. Now, all they need to do is get to the airport.
Did we miss the expressway?
Getting farther away every second.
That's probably my favorite Bill Murray movie.
Is he like a criminal in that one?
Yeah, he's based as a bank robber.
I think I saw that when it came out, but I don't remember. Like one of those, I don't remember anything about it.
It's him and Gina Davis, Randy Quaid, and Jason Robards.
Yeah, I remember it vaguely.
And it's funny because he had again, Warner Brothers, he had a lot of studio interference and wasn't happy with the way the film was coming about. He was editing the film in New York, and it just so happened that it was the same editing studio that Frank Henenlotter was editing Frankenhooker at the time.
That's why his quote's on the fucking box.
That's right, because they ended up they ended up running into each other in the halls and just talking a little bit. And Bill Murray had asked what he was working on. He told him Frankenhooker. He's like, I'm having so much trouble with this Quick Change movie. He's like, you're welcome to put a quote on the box that says, if you see any movie this year, see Frankenhooker.
Looking for some action?
Oh yeah. Basically saying, don't bother seeing Quick Change, see this movie instead. Which I thought
still stands.
Next up is Rob Reiner's This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
Very delicate.
It's a bit of a departure from the kind of thing you normally play. What do you call this?
Well, this piece is called Lick My Love Pump.
This is the loudest,
Rock and roll,
most explosive band in heavy metal history. This is Spinal Tap.
It's such a fine line between stupid and clever.
Again, at this point, Rob Reiner's mostly known as a director, but at the time, he was an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, This Is Spinal Tap is probably one of my favorite films, probably in my top 20 of all time. So just the idea of the movie majority being improv, the initial cut of the movie coming in at like 6.5 hours long, and somehow they trimmed it down to 82 minutes. It's a
brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie,
yeah. Second on the list was Paul Bartel's Eating Raoul.
Swing on weekend! Oh, yeah?
Well, swing on this.
Which I again absolutely love that movie. I love the I always love seeing Paul Bartel and Mary Warnoff. I don't care how bad the movie is. If they're in it, I'm gonna watch.
Oh yeah, it's well worth it. Like their appearance in Chopping Mall, it's just makes it a little bit better. I mean, that movie has one of my favorite quotes ever. What Paul Bartel reacts to Mary Warnoff when she says, "He was just alive today," and he's like, "Well, yeah, now he's garbage," and he just.
One of my favorite scenes in that too is John Paragon, who was Zombie on Pee-wee's Playhouse, the head in the thing, has a small cameo in the film as a sex shop worker.
Okay.
And Paul Bartel's coming in to try and buy a vibrator, a pair of handcuffs, and something else. I forget what it was. But the interaction between the two of them is just absolutely hysterical. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, I love the hot tub too, guys. He's like, "What's the matter? You got VD?" He's like, "Swing on this." Oh man,
I'm Howard Swine, your horny host who's hung with the most.
He was in a bunch of movies? Wasn't he in Death Race 2002?
He was in Gremlins as well as Rockin' Ricky Rialto.
I don't remember him in Gremlins. See, like
I'm trying to think, what was it? The real Don Steele was the actor's name.
Yep.
I don't know whatever happened to him, but always loved seeing him show up.
He got VD and died.
Probably, yeah. And my number one on the list is Alex Winter's Freaked.
What's the matter? Afraid of a little rock stuff? In Freaked, coming soon to a theater. Freaked, but ugly, but funny. Welcome to show business, morons!
Just absolutely love that movie. That is always going to be in my top 10.
San Flan, where's that piece of shit?
I want you to know that me and my team in Santa Flan.
Santa Flan? What kind of shitty name for a country is that?
It is named for the patron saint of creamy desserts.
I fucking did terrible.
So did you get any of them at all?
Okay, I'll go to the list, but I love Freak too, by the way. It's a very good list. Most of the movies on there I had seen and or I had a vague memory of really liking, but man, I love Freaked. I can't believe Freak's on the list. I didn't register anything. I went like mainstream because I was like, fuck it, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
It was one of those two where I almost put Charles Martin Smith's Trick or Treat, but he's barely in it. He has a small role as a teacher in it. It's like, well, that doesn't really count.
Okay, so I'll go up the list. 10.
Okay.
I didn't get anything. 9.
I
didn't get nothing. 8. I didn't get nothing. So 7, I wrote this is Spinal Tap. I did get this is Spinal Tap. Yeah. Look at my chicken scratch. Like
you got one then.
This terrible writing and this bedroom makes me look like a straight serial killer. It's all plain bedroom.
You need news clippings on the wall.
No shit. At number 6, I put the Outlaw Josie Wales.
How was it with Stains?
That's a great movie. I'm not a huge Western fan, but I will acknowledge that's a great movie.
See, that's when you said I don't like period pieces is when I realized I was fucked.
Yeah.
Because I love period pieces. So those were all the ones that came to my mind.
Right.
For some reason, I panicked and I couldn't remember if Paul Newman or Robert Redford, they directed a lot of movies, I think. Didn't they direct a couple? So I wrote Robert Redford as one of this Paul Newman because I could not think of the fucking movie.
Dressing. Burger King introduces Newman's own all-natural salad dressings in 6 great recipes on 4 great salads. So come to Burger King for a salad dressed better than the guy who created the dressing. To give you a salad dressed like no one else, sometimes you've got to break the rules.
And the sad thing is, both of them are very talented, but I'll be damned if I can think of a movie that they've directed.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I know they have. There was one a couple of years ago that Robert Redford directed. I always mix it up with The Mule, which was
Clint Eastwood.
I can't remember.
And which one did Kevin Costner direct? Which baseball movie did he direct?
Oh God, it wasn't For Love of the Game because that was Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I put that one down because I couldn't remember the baseball movie. Field of Dreams. It was I couldn't remember which was which, and I don't really give a fuck about baseball. I'm not
a sports guy at all.
I like sports movies.
I know that's hip to say where it's like, oh no, I don't care about sports. I truly don't. So it's like,
I mean, I played them when I was a kid, but I didn't watch too many. I watched MMA. That's all I ever watched.
Right.
But I put 2 Braveheart. I was like, fuck it. That was a big movie at the time. You hate period pieces.
See, but here's the thing though. I love Mel Gibson. I am a huge Mel Gibson fan. So the problem is, for me personally, I'm not saying they're bad movies. It's just nothing he's ever directed has really personally connected with me.
Yeah.
You know, Braveheart is a visually amazing movie. It's just not a subject matter that I'm interested in. So.
Well, my dad and my grandfather used to play in the Scottish like bagpipe fucking bands and shit. So my dad probably watched that movie a lot. And plus I was like 8 years old when it came out. So, automatically just fucking love it. And number 1, I put Unforgiven because I was like, it's be hard pressed to find a better movie directed by an actor for me personally.
Right.
So I just wrote off.
And you would be right. I just, again, not a fan of Westerns, not a fan. Just not my thing.
All right. Well, I screwed up. I got 1 out of 10. That's bad. I dove left, but you swung right. So I actually thought you were going to do something involving horror movies. I did. Right. I was thinking, or I might have thought you were going to do like something wacky, like SOV movies or zombie films. And I guarantee I would have gotten 7 of your 10 zombie movies. I really think I would have.
It was one of those where I didn't know where exactly I was going to be placed as far as this series go. So it was one of those where I wanted to do something kind of unique. Yeah. And I figured, okay, he's going to expect me to do the shot on video thing because that's the majority of my career. and he's probably going to expect him to do something horror related. Let's just throw him a curveball, and apparently it worked.
I'm not that smart though. That's the problem. Okay, so basically, what I did for you is I know that you're a big George Romero fan.
Yes,
and I know you're a big Dead film fan, right? I know your favorite film is Night of the Living Dead, right?
No, it's actually a toss-up between Dawn of the Dead and Texas Chainsaw.
Okay,
but, I appreciate Night of the Living Dead. It's
your favorite quote is from Night of the Living Dead.
Which quote?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah, you go ahead. Go. You go further. Go ahead.
Okay. Because I remember reading somewhere that one of your favorite quotes was from Night of the Living Dead. Okay. So basically, what I did was I just made a really quick. It's fairly easy 20-question trivia of George Romero's first 4 Dead films, and I'm probably guessing right that you're not a huge Land of the Dead fan, but you don't hate it.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I remember seeing Land of the Dead in theaters and absolutely hating it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once he released Document and Survival, I've got a new appreciation for Land because at least it's a coherent film, which is more than I can say for the other 2.
Well, Romero's movies.
I mean, the original the original trilogy will always be the Dead films to me. The other ones, just like, so.
I like Land. There's some parts in Diary that are okay. Like it makes it sadder because you'll see like a genius moment and then it's surrounded by a bad moment. Like, fuck me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like eating like a, never mind. This is going nowhere. So anyway, I was going to make a Jello or a pudding analogy. I was like, this doesn't work. This doesn't make any sense. So basically it's going to start off with 12 quotes. You have to guess the movie and the character who said it.
Oh, I could. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's where you're probably going to get your revenge from my list, because I'm already going into this cocky, thinking, oh, well, it's George Romero Dead films. I've got this. It's not going to surprise me if I mess this up. So let's see what we got.
The first 12 are quotes. The rest are questions. I think you should get, you'll get a passing. You'll at least get I think you'll get a 75 out of 100 here. So
it's the first one, I have to tell you which one of the Dead films it is and who said, which character said it.
If it's a lame character or a character without a name, just a description will be fine.
Got it. Okay.
So I probably, because I don't think I could say these quotes without trying to do a terrible impersonation of them, just as I've done it my entire life. Here we go. With those bay doors open, there's going to be 1,000 zombies in here.
That would be in Dawn of the Dead. That was Ken Foray's character, Peter.
Yep, you got it.
One down. Okay.
All right. So here we go. Let him go, goddammit, or I'll cut you in half.
That was Sarah in Day of the Dead. Laurie Cardell.
There we go.
I'll cut you in half.
Ain't it a crime? The only person who could miss with this gun would be the sucker with the bread to buy it.
That would be also Ken Foray, Peter in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. And it's funny because I have a signed I have a collage on my stairwell with all of the leads. And it was when he first started doing conventions, when Ken Foray first, and he completely screwed up the line. He completely misquoted it. And I love the fact that I have that. So.
Oh, that's got to be one of the best lines. And that's the most like quintessential 70s line in the whole movie. You're just like, oh, it's such a cool line.
It was funny because when I got it, the guy was telling me, because I used to buy from collectors that would go to conventions for me because I wasn't a fan of conventions and just basically get pick up autographs for me. When he got it, like a friend of mine who did it was telling me that the guy in front of him basically asked Ken Foray if he would sign it Chocolate Man because of Savini's line in Dawn of the Dead. And Ken Foray just looked at me and goes, I'm not doing that. It's like
I literally like, man, shut the fuck up. Wouldn't you? Shut the fuck up, dude. All right, so this one's a gimme. Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
That is the chief, the police chief in Night of the Living Dead.
You got a name on that chief?
Helen?
Yeah, that's close enough. That's close enough. This one that's gonna be you got fucked. You got fucked.
Oh, fucked. You got fucked. Huh. I think you may have stumped me on this one. Deliver the line one more time.
You got fucked. You got fucked.
I don't know. You got me.
It's actually a Land of the Dead quote.
Oh, well, that might be okay.
It's the bum. A bum says it when after the main guy Riley gets ripped off, and Charlie's like,
that's right. Okay, yeah.
Did you get fucked? And then that bum's like, you got fucked. You got fucked. It's the funniest line in the whole movie.
That's a good line. Okay, that was good.
Okay. So here we go. One of those things grabbed her, bit her on the arm.
That was actually that's a trick question, because one of those things grabbed her is Helen Cooper's line from Night of the Living Dead, but was it Mr. Cooper? Why can't I think of his first name? Harry Cooper is the one that says bit her on the arm.
Oh, maybe I mixed it up too. That was just stuck in my head as only Harry Cooper saying that. So you got me. You stumped me on that one.
Bit her on the arm.
I checked on most of them just to double check my work, but you never know.
I thought you were throwing me a curveball.
No, not on purpose. So this one should be a gimme too. When the dead walks in yours, we must stop the killing or lose the war.
That's the Padre in the tenement building basement when Roger and Peter are first meet.
No, I dare anyone to know what the fuck he says the first couple times you watch that movie.
Oh yeah. It's like he's got this great this speech, but it's like half of it. The accent's so thick, it's so difficult to understand.
Lose the war. I was like, what? Is he Spanish or is he? I don't know what's happening here. Then fucking A, biggest piece of meat in the cave.
That's Steel from Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Okay. What you gonna watch on that thing, man?
That was one of the bikers during the mall raid in Dawn.
Yeah, that's a little great moment there. Okay. I once saw one of those things sitting behind a wheel of a car in DC trying to drive down Independence Avenue. It didn't make me want to be its friend.
That was Dr. Fisher in Day of the Dead.
Yep. Okay. Somebody's driving real fast. I don't know if you picked that. I Hurt.
Karen Cooper now. Okay, that actually might be. Yeah, it is Karen Cooper in the original.
Yep.
Night of the Living Dead, because they changed her to Sarah in the remake.
Yep. Her only line.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody knows it. So go on, run, you fucking lunatics.
Rhodes in Day of the Dead.
I couldn't give you any good Rhodes lines because they're so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those. The thing that amazed me about Joe Pilato's performance in Day of the Dead is it's a lot like Gary Oldman's performance in The Professional.
Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
And anybody fucks with my command, they get court-martialed, they get executed. You better know I mean it too, people.
In the sense that if any other actor had performed it in that way, they would have been laughed off the soundstage. But because they are so good in those roles, it's like, shit, I can't. And the sad thing is, I love Joe Pilato, but the remainder of his career, he never had a performance that amazing.
The closest one he had was in so I don't want to spoil it because it could be later asked, so I can't go on it. But he never matched. He never was nearly as good. Like, it seemed like later on in his career, he never really got many roles. He was in Wishmaster for a second. He was in that Parasites movie where he played the homeless guy, which was pretty fun actually, by Chad Farron. Farron, was that his name?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good movie actually.
Did you ever see him in what was it? Robert Kurtzman directed a movie called The Demolitionist.
No, is that one of those like chick flick?
Ripoff?
She's like a badass chick flick, right? Like a chick, not chick flick, but chick fighter or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It had a ton of horror actors in it, but he's especially painful to watch in it.
Oh, that's sad to hear. I did get lucky enough to meet him once. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, I unfortunately never had the opportunity, but everybody I've ever spoke to that did before he passed said he was just amazing.
So number 13, this is not a quote this time. So name the characters in Day of the Dead, every single one of them.
Every single one of them?
And okay. I'm not talking about background zombie, okay?
Right. So the scientists were Sarah and Dr. Fisher, Ted Fisher, and Dr. Frankenstein, Logan. The soldiers were Rhodes, Steele, Rickles, Miguel Salazar. I'd be hard pressed to tell you Greg Nicotero and the other sub soldiers' names? Is that part of this?
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Well, then you probably have me on this because the only other one that I remember, obviously, is Bub. I don't know who were the other soldiers.
You missed John and McDermott, but I figured you knew them.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
Torres, Johnson, and Miller.
Oh, okay, because I remember them screaming Miller as he when right before he gets killed.
Man, Torres gets his head taken off, and Johnson is the one who gets shot in the friendly fire thing.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that movie is my favorite movie, so I have it embedded in my fucking head. So then here we go. What actor? Where am I at? No, name 3 actors that appear in more than one Dead film.
Okay.
3.
Joe Pilato in both Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm thinking. So at least 2. Now I'm assuming we're just talking about the original trilogy. Does the remake count? Do the other ones count?
Land of the Dead counts.
Land of the Dead counts. Okay. So Savini in Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead. Mm-hmm. And let's see here. Is there anybody else I can think of? You know what? I think you might have me stumped. Who was the last one?
There's 2 more. I was nice on you. There's John Apples. He plays Martinez in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're absolutely right.
And he plays Fisher. And then we got Tasso. I can never say Tasso's last name. He plays Torres, but he also plays Sledge in Dawn of the Dead.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Probably because he's Savini's buddy, and they're like, let's just cover this fucker in makeup as much as we can.
Well, if you notice, all the remaining soldiers in Day of the Dead are all just the effects guys that were hanging out on set. So
yeah, I mean Nicotero and Tasso, yeah.
Right.
So okay, here we go. What actor from the first 4 Dead films worked with Sam Peckinpah in a sizable role?
What actor from the first?
He has to be in one of the first 4 Dead films. Worked in a Sam Peckinpah movie in a sizable role.
Was that Richard Liberty?
I don't know. I don't think he was in any Peckinpah movies in a sizable role.
Okay.
Not the actor I'm thinking of. I'm pretty sure he did. But I mean, Richard Liberty, what was one he popped up in for like a second? And I was like, hey, shit, Final Countdown. He was in that one.
Right, exactly. You know, I don't think I know this one either.
It's Dennis Hopper.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Osterman Weekend, yeah.
I always forget. Again, I only think of the first 3, so I always forget about Land.
I shouldn't have included Land, but hey, I had to have some sort of event.
It still counts. It's still one of them. Technically, survival counts, even though I think it's unwatchable. So.
I didn't include Diary or Survival. What 2 actors from Dawn of the Dead appear in Silence of the Lambs?
Okay, if we're going technically, Romero has a small role in Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, why can't I think of his name? He was the basically the newscaster at the beginning of Dawn.
David Early. I'll give it to you. It's pretty hard.
Okay, yeah. He has a small role as well.
Mr. Berman.
That's right. Yeah, Mr. Berman.
Not running a talk show here, Mr. Berman. You can forget pitching the audience the moral bullshit they want to hear.
Yeah, I always mix this up. Was it him or the other guy that passed? I think it was him, wasn't it?
He passed. I think they might both be passed by now.
Did they both? Okay.
I know that Millard Rausch is still alive.
Right.
Because he popped up in that new Dawn of the Dead special features, and I was like, I thought that motherfucker was dead. I mean, he's the best in that movie, but I could have swore he was dead. You know, if I would have bet $20 on it.
Right.
Okay, so how many times is the word zombie or zombies used in the first 4 Dead films?
Let's see here. In the first 4 Dead films?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know it's not mentioned once in the original. It's mentioned one time in Dawn, because he said, when those bay doors open, there's going to be 1,000 zombies in here. But that's the only time, because in the original, it was only mentioned, even in the script, as ghouls, right?
Yep.
Okay. In Day of the Dead, is it mentioned in Day of the Dead?
I can't tell you that.
No, that's true. Okay. I'm gonna say No, in Day of the Dead. Because of the fact that, I mean, I remember them being called Puss Fox. I remember them, but I don't recall zombie being used in there. And in Land of the Dead, it's just the improvised Dennis Hopper line, "Zombies, man, they creep me out." Yeah, am I right on that? It's just 2 times, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
that's good. Yeah. Okay, which director lined up?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Hopper improvise the line or the nose picking or both in that?
I'm not sure, but the nose picking, I'm sure he did. I mean, he's really the best part of that movie.
He's great in it, and I'll be honest with you, I have a special place in my heart for Robert Joy in that.
Oh, he's good. He's pretty good. Much better than the lead.
A lot. Ozzy Argento's difficult to watch in that. She really is.
I mean, that movie is, I like it. It's good, but it also suffers from one-dimensional characters, and Romero was the best at writing two-dimensional characters. Like his other characters are so two-dimensional. Like even in Day of the Dead, I always use this reference. It's like he gave Steele so much more to do than anybody else would have gave a guy like that. Like you would have you would have just been an asshole. But in that, you like Steele, even though he's an asshole, because he has those moments of like humanity in him. You're like, oh, this makes sense now to me. Otherwise, why would you just be acting like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing pretty good. Which director lied about working on Dawn of the Dead to get work?
Oh, it was Quentin Tarantino. He claimed he was a featured zombie in Dawn, and he, if that was the case, he would have been like 10 years old at the time.
Yep.
So.
Yep. He was one of them fucking kids that got shot in that that stop. Actually, those were Savini's nephews, right?
Those are his nephews, yeah.
Okay. You should get this one. What is a diner referenced? What is a diner in Night of the Living Dead? What's it? The one they reference?
Beekman's Diner.
Yep. Yep. And they show in the what is that? The one where John Russo went and recut it and added all that new footage.
So painful. So it just, I mean, I get the idea that you want to make money off this, but it's like, wow, that thing. And I was amazed that Anchor Bay got behind it. They were like really pushing that thing, and there were so many people that were just disgusted.
I was like fucking 12 when I watched it. I don't think I've ever watched it since. Whenever they released it, I watched it. Never watched it since. I didn't know any better either way.
Right.
Okay, so this one's a little, I guess, somewhat. So name 4 sort of unofficial sequels to the Dead films. So it could be unofficial sequel to Night or Dawn or Day, or one that would really work or placated on, like the film itself.
Okay, not counting remakes, correct?
No remakes.
Okay, so technically, the Return of the Living Dead series is one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna basically play the easy route and say Return of the Living Dead 1 through 5.
Okay.
But we'll just say Return of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead 3D.
Oh, I didn't finish that one.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
Is it a sequel?
What's that?
Is it? I got to like Sid Haig. Is that the one with Sid Haig?
Yeah, that's the one with Sid Haig. Then they did a sequel to that called Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, or was it? I think it was Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, where they replaced what was it? Sid Haig with Andrew Divoff, and Jeffrey Combs is also in it, as well as Denise Duff playing Sarah Palin.
I wrote myself, like, as I got older, I said, if George Romero's family's not making money off a Night of the Living Dead remake or a sequel, or it's not Savini or Nicotero or somebody directly involved with it or his son, I will not watch them. Like all these people go out and they make this fan movie that's called Night of the Living Dead, and like it's because I love George Romero. It's like, no, it's because it's a fucking public domain movie.
There was one made locally here that they ended up upon release they retitled it. I think it was called Rebirth, and literally all it is a Night of the Living Dead remake where they basically swap genders with Barbara, where rather than her being a panicked woman, it's now a gay guy. That's the only difference. Seriously,
I'm not interested in it. Like Romero is, I have all the respect in the world for all those movies. Like I wouldn't.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't. Fucking...
But to give you 2 more, because I think I've got 3 so far. There was Children of the Living Dead.
I can't believe you got that one.
Holy shit, was that thing?
Abbott Hayes.
Total garbage.
I don't hate it. I'm not going to tell you it's good, but I watched much worse.
Yeah, well, there are worse, but not by much. Not by much. And then one of my favorites that I love the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, both Romero and Russo tried to get it stopped, was Flesh Eater, which literally is just Bill Hines been saying, you know what was really missing from the original with my original goal? Me grabbing chubby tits.
I absolutely love the scene where he goes and attacks her in the bathroom. Like, it clearly, like, you know, his wife's like, what were you doing today on set? And he's like, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, are you talking about the one in the barn where he obviously is groping this poor baby fat queen? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the one in the shower where the girl's like in the towel and he comes out.
Yeah.
It's like Nightmare City Part 2. It is ripping off the
it's
shirt.
bad. Yeah, it's really. And again, I'm not even shitting on the movie. I have a blast watching.
I love that movie.
But I mean, come on, Bill. We know why you were making that.
It's a really fun movie. Like,
it is.
I mean, and I also would have taken Zombie as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that's true. I always forget that technically that was Dawn of the Dead 2 in Italy. So
yeah, I had Zombie series, Return of the Living Dead, Flesh Eater, Entry Limit. You literally got them all that I put down. You literally got them all. So what did you do on here? I think you only got the Land of the Dead question wrong. That's 1. And then you got the characters from Day wrong. That's 2.
Right.
You got to name the 3 actors wrong. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
4, the Peck and Paul one you got wrong. 4. 4. You got 4. You got an 80%.
Not bad.
Now, much better than my 10%.
I'm completely happy with 80%. I can live with that.
I got a 10%. They're taking away my free tuition. All right.
I threw you a curveball. Let's admit that.
I know. I'm gonna keep getting people on here, and I'm like, I hope they do horror movies, and then somebody's gonna be like, I'm doing 50s musicals, and every answer is gonna be Singing in the Rain.
Hey, you know what? When you contacted me, you said make the list about anything I want. Well, that's what I did.
It's about you. That's why it's about you. It's not about me. All right. So I know that you have a bunch of projects coming up. Like, I don't know if I'm pretty sure people are semi-familiar with your work and stuff. You've been on the show and you've done a bunch of indie stuff and all that kind of stuff, and been around for how long? How long you been doing this?
I don't even know. I started this when I was 12. I started acting when I was 12, and I'm going to be 50 this year. So
that's a long time.
I don't even admit that. So,
all right. So what you did, you recently dived into directing. You did Brimstone Incorporated was your second film, but Her Name Was Christa was your first, and now you got a third one. Is that's all completed and done?
Not yet. We actually started principal photography on the 17th.
Okay.
We actually we were supposed to start shooting in November, but I wanted more rehearsal time. I'm a sucker for rehearsing, okay. So it's like I went ahead and took the winter and was working with the actors and whatnot, getting some stuff ready. The film is called Trivial, and it is basically a revenge horror thriller about 7 strangers who are kidnapped and forced into a trivia type game show hosted by a psychotic Sasha Graham. So
that sounds fun.
So we'll be we will be hopefully releasing that in June or July.
Nice. Now, are you going on the effects on that one? Is it going to be like more like the Red Room style thing?
You know what? It's one of those where I am not a tremendous fan of like ridiculous amounts of gore.
Oh yeah.
But at the same token, I love gore films, so it's one of those where I want it to be a happy medium. This isn't going to be Machine Girl, but at the same time,
I understand what you mean.
Like, it's definitely going to be the bloodiest film I've done. Let's put it that way.
I read a Red Room reference. I didn't mean necessarily like over the top splatter. I meant almost just kind of really like grotesque kind of shit they have to do to each other.
I'm hoping that our kills in this, or at least our tortures, are going to be pretty nasty.
Who do you got for the effects?
Ron George out of Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah, I only know.
Will be doing it, and I'm actually what was it? It's looking like James Bell's going to come aboard as well.
Nice. He's got some really gross body parts.
Oh yeah.
So, is there any way people can donate, or is that all done with?
We did an Indiegogo that actually went very well. If people are interested, I mean, look me up on Facebook. I know we had perks that were still available for associate producer credits, or you can pre-order the Blu-ray. I mean, we can always use the extra budget, so feel free to reach out to me.
Awesome. Thanks for doing this, man. If you have anything else to say, or
no, just like I've told you before, I love the channel, and anytime you want me on here, I would be thrilled.
Yeah, I think we were gonna have you come on and we would just like review like movies that are like awful but are the best movies too, like the best bad, like Nightmare City. Like it's
right. Hell of the Living Dead. That kind
those
of thing.
those kind of movies that I like. I literally am like giving like a 5 stars out of 5, and they're like, why? It's like because it's that entertaining. Like
exactly.
And nobody on the movie thinks it sucks. That's why it's great.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully all this went well with Zoom. Like I said, Zoom's a little harder to get people's timing down. You're just interrupting and there's like weird glitches and shit. But yeah, I appreciate you doing this, man. So
anytime, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care, man.
You too.
Hey folks, James L. Edwards here, actor and writer of independent films. You might remember me from such films as Bloodletting, Polymorph, Killer Campout, and June 9. Last year I actually tried my hand at directing. My first film, released in 2020, was the necrophile love story Her Name Was Christa, and I followed that up with a horror anthology called Brimstone Incorporated. The reason that I'm talking to you today is we are attempting to raise funds for my third feature film, a horror thriller called Trivial. Trivial is the story, essentially, of 6 possible strangers that are held captive and tortured by a mysterious woman via a bizarre game show. Our hope is to begin filming this coming October or November with a potential release date of late spring, early summer of 2022. The film will star Sasha Graham from the 90s shot-on-video classics Addicted to Murder and Polymorph, Drew Fortier of Dwellers and Her Name Was Christa, Tim Novotny, the director of Pharisee and Vile Prey, as well as star of the upcoming series St. Gabriel, Rick Germain from WrestleMassacre and Milfs vs. Zombies, and Adam Clevenger, the writer and director of People to Kill, as well as Ragmar. Our goal is essentially to attempt to raise $10,000 to put towards the budget. Now, if we are able to raise more than that, we'll include more perks in the current Indiegogo, which right now offers signed DVDs, signed Blu-rays, as well as many other different items. I truly hope you'll consider donating to the cause, because to be quite honest with you, we can't do it without you. Again, thank you so much for your time, and let's make this movie.